The issue of free will is a seemingly unimportant theological topic. However, our philosophical ideas often stem from our theology, and the issue of free will determines the fate of society. The rejection of free will resulted in the death of accountability. Early philosophers such as Augustine believed that God created man with free will so that he could choose salvation. Later philosophers like Sartre rejected this idea and instead believed that if God created man, then God controlled man's actions. If God is all-knowing and he created us, then he must have intended for us to do whatever we do. The early Stoics believed that the only freedom man had was his reaction to his circumstances, his reaction and attitude to his circumstances. Philosophers like Nietzsche viewed God as a man-made concept created by the weak and cowardly to escape freedom. Without God, man is not bound to ethics. He is totally free to do his own will. The lack of free will results in the death of accountability. The concept of free will gives man personal accountability. In obedience to God who gave you free will, you must use your free will to do the right thing. Because God is your creator, man is not only accountable to his fellow man, but also to God. Without free will, there is no accountability. If I did not have the ability to choose a different action, then my actions are not my own, and they are not my fault. How can one be judged for their choices when they were not in fact choices to begin with? Even salvation comes into question. How can you truly believe in salvation through faith when that faith isn't yours to choose? The removal of free will sets society on the path to decadence and degeneracy. The death of accountability's effects on today's culture are readily apparent. There is no universal moral standard for which to judge people against, and so each individual determines what is right and wrong based on their own arbitrary circumstances and feelings. The loss of personal accountability leads to the loss of societal accountability. If individuals are not held accountable, then leaders are not held accountable. This can only lead to dictatorship and mob rule. In this worldview, might makes right, and any means to reach society's end is justifiable. The societal philosophy allows societies to commit genocide and still believe they are in the right. Some examples of this include Nazi Germany, Soviet Russia, the modern U.S. on the issues of abortion and transgenderism, and the recent endorsement of pedophilia by the UN under the guise of sexual freedom. The only true freedom is found through God, and only societies that are held accountable for their actions by God can be truly just.